plan. You want to keep seeing the downward trend, but that trend might not always be like an exact number. Like this most recent time, like since I've said I wanted to focus more on muscle and muscle weighs more than fat kind of thing, the dietitian actually said specifically, okay, don't get on the scale, just we will check your progress with this very expensive piece of technology when you come back in like February. But that's where I'm at right now. I mean, I'm still don't have, I'm not at the place where I'd like to be. Um, but I feel phenomenally better than I did, a year ago, for example. Um, or a year and some change, I guess, at this point. Because like I was always worried, like, in terms of like physical activity, like I like when people said they did things like hiking or jogging or something, I just thought it was weird. Because I was like, that just sounds so tiring. Like I'm gonna go hiking somewhere, I'm gonna go out in the middle of the forest, and I'm just gonna sit there and be tired and not gonna want to get back up and even go back the way from which I came, just I'm just gonna be overwhelmed and exhausted. But now it's like I went and hiked 4 miles on Friday when I was off work. I was like, oh, cool. It's an opportunity to go hiking again. It hadn't quite, this weekend's when like the temperatures like plummeted. So it was before that. But,
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, so that's the very short story of, uh, the long story, still kind of long, but shortened a little bit to, just kind of say where I've been and where I'm at.
Okay, yeah. So I'm definitely glad that you shared all of that because I could definitely relate to a good bit, a good portion of what you mentioned as far as like your weight going up and down and up and down, and now you're right now at a good place. So I'm definitely, glad to hear that, and even glad to hear that you've even gotten into like the idea of hiking. That was kind of the same thing for me. Like I used to not like the idea of hiking, just thinking like, oh, that just sounds so tiring and all that. But then once I started like finally trying to do hiking, it kind of got it got to where I started appreciating it a little bit more. Where did you go hiking, by the way?
Oak Mountain.
Nice. Yeah, I've been there a couple of times. Nice area for sure. And so, as far as me, as far as like weight goes, same thing for me. Like as far as when I was younger, I didn't like the idea of going to PE or to the gym. But when I was younger, maybe it was like fun, but like once I got into middle school, that's probably where I started having a little bit more like, oh, this isn't as fun as it used to be. Like when I was in elementary school, it was all about like dodgeball and all of these like fun activities. But then once you got into middle school, it kind of just got a little bit to where they maybe focused a little bit more on our fitness as far as trying to figure out how many pull-ups can you do and how many sit-ups can you do in like a minute, how fast can you like how much time does it take to run a mile and all of this. So it got to where it's like, oh, this is no fun no more. So once I got into high school, any opportunity that I had to take a different elective, I was definitely on board, like choosing anything other than the gym or PE. So besides my freshman year of high school, I think I had no choice but to take physical education. But so there was that. And then as far as like my weight, like it wasn't really a problem for me until I was in middle school, like around eighth grade. I guess that's kind of where I felt like I wasn't growing as fast. So I guess it was making it to where I was gaining a little bit more weight. And that was definitely kind of where my insecurity started as far as like my weight problem. And especially when like people will point it out, other classmates would point it out that I've gotten fat or, gotten big. So like that definitely didn't feel good. So, but over my high school years, I ended up like growing, I guess, to where it started like I started like slimming down just a little bit throughout my ninth through 11th grade. But then my 12th grade year, I kind of got back up. Like I remember I still look back at my senior pictures and just think like, ah, like, just I just feel like I don't like it just because even for me too, I didn't like, there was really no good angle for me at that point either. And I felt like it was just like, gosh, like I just couldn't even stand seeing myself in pictures. But like I did it just because I knew like this is the year, senior year graduating and all that. So yeah, I definitely wasn't too confident and feeling too good about my senior pictures. But I ended up getting a job like right before my senior year, and my job was a little bit, it was physical wise because I was like a bagger at a grocery store, and then also part of our job was like having to go outside and get the buggies, or for some people that don't know what buggies is, a shopping cart. So going to go get a shopping cart and bringing it back into the store. And I kind of got to where I was losing weight there. Like I started losing, I ended up actually losing like 50 pounds over 2 years. And it actually is in relation to, I guess I would put it more into the sickness slash illness category. So I'll kind of bring that back up here in a little bit. So I got to where I lost weight down from, I was like around 212 my senior year. And then I got down to like 160 pounds or something like that over a matter of 2 years, and it was due to this sickness that I had. Well, yeah, I would have to explain a little bit more because I don't know if I consider it a sickness, but anyways, I ended up having that health problem resolved and ended up gaining the weight back. And I kind of got fast forward to 2019, I ended up getting like heavier than I've ever been. Like I got up to 230 pounds, and I could just tell in my pictures like the way like my face was looking and the way my body was looking. I told myself like starting 2020, you're gonna try losing some weight and you're gonna try doing better and exercising more and all of this. So in 2020, we have a treadmill here at the house. So I ended up getting on the treadmill and doing a good bit of walking, which was definitely useful, that treadmill, because COVID hit, of course. So gyms closed. So I was to where I had to just do my workouts from home. So that was my form of exercise in 2020, was getting on a treadmill. And I got myself down about 20, 25 pounds. So I definitely felt really good at that point. By the time it was like summer 2020, I was down to like 203, 202 range. And I was kind of staying there for a little bit, but then I kind of started slacking again as far as exercising. So in 2021, I started gaining back the weight, even up to 20, actually, even to 2022, even all the way up till April or May, I gained 20 pounds of it back. So I kind of got back up to 225 pounds at April. And so I kind of got myself signed up in a gym because I told myself that I need to try to make more of a commitment, and thinking that I need to pay, like if I'm gonna pay for something, then I might as well go and do it, I guess, kind of commit to it in that way financially, to where it's like, yeah, you're paying for it, you're gonna use it. So I went to the gym for a little bit. Kind of got discouraged because I was trying to use the treadmill, just trying to do some cardio machines, or trying to, do cardio exercises. And the first 2 months, I was not losing weight at all. So, and I don't know if a lot of it had to do with um, using the same machine. Maybe my body was used to using the treadmill, so I guess I got adjusted to it. So I did that for a little bit. It wasn't working. So I started I was talking to somebody about like my weight, and they were actually telling me a lot of it has to do with what I'm eating, which of course I knew it was that, but like they told me like it really is like most of like it's like the best way of losing weight is changing like a lot of what you eat or how much you eat. So I started trying to do that, trying to change a little bit into healthier options as far as like breakfast goes, trying to change to eating food that's better for me, and even like as far as what I would drink for breakfast. Like I used to just drink a Coke for breakfast to like just wake me up, but now I've swapped over to water. So even doing little changes like that and lowering my portions, I got myself back down, and currently around like 212, 213. So I guess basically at the weight that I was at my senior year. So there's still progress that needs to be made. But I think a lot of, I guess, what's helped me lose some weight now here recently is the food intake that I've been, I guess, doing here in the past few months. And I've still been trying to do exercise. I guess my exercise, I have not been going to the gym, but I have been, I guess, like doing more, I guess, dancing, even though I'm not the best at it, but I've been trying to do some dancing. And I guess that's been kind of helping me stay consistently either at a weight or going down. As long as I'm not gaining, I guess that's the good thing. But I do want to eventually get myself down lower. I would like to lose another 10, 15 pounds. So, yeah, a lot of it has to do with food and, doing a little bit more exercising. But I know a lot of it is just what I eat because there's so much good food. And especially during this time of the year, like you were saying, it's definitely a hard time for that because, Thanksgiving and Christmas time, that's where all the good food come into play. So, it's definitely a challenge, but I just got to give myself some grace during those moments and, be sure to enjoy the holidays. But at the same time, trying my best not to overdo it. But I know that's going to be a challenge in itself as well.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things you mentioned about, the exercise machine, I know some people have told me that the treadmill is like kind of deceiving. It's not really all that great because you're not really using a I mean, it's kind of like not even as good as jogging because you're not really feeling the full brunt of your weight, carrying your weight like through space as you move. And you're stabilized, so you're not even having to worry about keeping your own balance really. So it's not really that great of a workout unless you're just looking for some generic cardio to, yeah, get your heart up. But yeah, that could be literally anything. Um, I always when the first time I lost weight, and even into the time since I've been going to the gym consistently since was June this year, um, I always kind of stuck to the elliptical. Um, and when I started going to the gym, it was just 30 minutes of that basically, and that was really all I would do, or like 35 minutes, and then a cool down for 5 minutes kind of thing. And that was just building up my endurance again, and kind of inadvertently kind of working some muscles because you're like you're holding on to like the stuff on the sides, and you're articulating your body in that way, and you're not just stepping forward, you're also pushing and pulling to compensate for that extra force. Um, but yeah, I mean, since then I've incorporated things like, I mean, yeah, I mentioned, hiking, which hiking isn't going to be as high intensity of a workout. It's going to be, a consistency thing. It's like, well, I'm just going to keep on walking up and down these hills and stuff like that. And some trails, 'cause I've pretty much gone on a different trail every time I've gone to Oak Mountain. Um, some of them are a lot more intense than others. Like there was one, I don't remember the names of any of these at all, but there was one that we went on that was 6 miles round trip, and it went up like 900 feet, basically the course of it, because we went to one of the lookouts, and you can really feel it at some parts that you're going like, you're not quite climbing, but you are elevating more, and you're using a lot more of your, muscular, like, oh gosh, I have to push more. I have to stretch more with, like, the hamstrings and the thighs and the, just pushing things upwards instead of just forwards. And, you're just keeping that up is kind of like this consistent thing. You may not be moving very fast, eventually be like, oh gosh, I'm sweating now. Um, or there's also another really good one, just for full body motion, there's swimming. Um, which I like a lot, especially in the summertime. Like it was actually kind of cool. We went out to the Cahaba River. There is a place over. Well, I don't want to say where the place is because I don't want a bunch of people to go crowding there. But it was just a nice little natural outlet for the river, and we went out there, and there were some trees you could swing off of, and no big deal. But I realized in swimming out there as opposed to like swimming in a pool where you can kind of see where you're going, whatever. It's like, wow, this is the first time I'm having to use full body weight motions to like tread water, keep myself up, and I can't take a break or I'll fall. I'll sink. I've got to keep it going until I can get to the side of the river or to a branch or get on the float, something, and just kind of keeping that up. It's a lot more work on your body than you realize. So swimming is really good for keeping fit and toned and that sort of stuff. But treadmill, not not really.